Welcome back here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Servant. So we continue to track the latest out of Spain, where there was a deadly train crash. So I want to read it just a little bit from the AP. So their report. Regional Spanish officials said Monday, and I'm just going to add this in here, dozens, they're reporting at least 40, but dozens, we're still working on confirming that number, are confirmed dead in a high-speed rail collision the previous night in the country's south when the tail end of a train jumped the track, causing another train speeding past in the opposite direction to derail. We want to take you now to NBC with the latest.
The death toll continues to rise following that high-speed train derailment in southern Spain. Now, Spanish authorities are saying there were some 300 people on a train heading from Malaga back to the Spanish capital, Madrid, at around 7:45 p.m. last night. That train appears to have jumped the rails and ended up on the same track as an oncoming southbound train. There was a collision there, some of the cars falling off an embankment, some 13 feet, passengers describing it as feeling like an earthquake, scenes of absolute terror as those cars went off the rails. People talking about suitcases flying everywhere, seeing bodies strewn around the carriages, some people thrown well clear of the train tracks themselves. The Spanish Prime Minister calling this a night of deep pain for our country. It is the worst train crash in Spain in more than a decade. It happened outside the city of Cordoba, and rescue crews are continuing to work to remove bodies from the wreckage. They say at this point they believe that they have all of the survivors out, but a major investigation now underway to try to figure out what caused this, and it has both authorities and experts baffled. The Spanish transport minister saying it is extremely strange that the accident happened where it did, because that is a straight part of the track that was recently renovated. Also saying that the train itself is fairly new, just 4 years old. So a lot of questions right now from the families of those who lost their lives. Raph Sanchez, NBC News, London.
All right, so that is the latest there from Spain. So we want to take you now to a press conference, and we were able to get it translated via AI. But let's take you there now. Again, according to AP News, regional Spanish officials said Monday, at least, which is today, that at least 40 people are confirmed dead in that high-speed rail collision. Let's take a listen into that press conference from earlier.
And what is important is to convey to the public that the Civil Guard has established 4 centers to be able to attend to the direct relatives of the victims and to be able to collect information from those people who want from their direct relatives. These 4 points and 4 centers are located in the 4th zone of the Civil Guard in Andalusia, which is located on Avenida de la Borbala, in Seville, in the area of Madrid, which is on Cal Batalla de Salado, in the command of Malaga, in the barracks of Malaga, and in the barracks of the command of Huelva. Also transmit that a protocol of Royal Decree 32/2009 is activated, in which the work of forensic doctors is coordinated with the judicial police. In this protocol, some antemortem points are established in order to be able in this way, together with the relatives, to be able to identify the victims.
Are the people who are unidentified all deceased, or may there be someone injured who is also unidentified?
At the moment, we are working with the criminalistics team, and at the moment, everything that is an investigation is being carried out by the Client's Investigation Commission. How many wagons are left? I have no more information.
Thank you.
Stop looking for everyone, sir. Do you know the official data? Are the official data already confirmed?
The data that you had in the morning, to see if they were similar, with exactly how many victims. I cannot give you more information at the moment until this data is established.
Data may change. There may be
Victims. I can't tell you anything else.
But it has not yet been possible, I understand, to enter all the wagons, so it is not ruled out that even more bodies may appear.
At the moment, I cannot give you more information until it is established.
And the identification of...
with the firefighters of people who died in those wagons. The difficulty is that the heavy machinery that we were waiting for has a difficult fit to be able to work and to be able to lift those wagons so that the firefighters can work, and therefore the forensic doctors, the civil guard, and certify and identify those deceased people also enter. Technicians are talking about another option that could be to split, so to speak, the wagons until they identify those non-deceased people, which does seem to be. And I wish it were not like that. But what it does seem is that there may be deceased people who we have not yet been able to access who are in those wagons. Now the objective is, as I say, to locate them, identify them, and transfer the information to all those relatives who are having a frankly bad time, who, although they intuit that they may have lost and that they have died, but we have not yet been able to certify it. That is the situation we are experiencing now. I want to thank the co-elaboration of everyone, the City Council, the neighbors who have turned to this magnificent town, and the rest of the administrations, the health professionals, the state security forces and corps of the firefighters who did a job last night. The images were very, very shocking. To me, of course, it had an impact. I had never seen a situation like this. The impact has been very strong, and therefore we are experiencing the consequences of that impact, and we are seeing them, and we are going to see them over the next few days. We are working on our part in helping the victims through groups of psychologists who are approaching and accompanying these people. And what we want is to be able to identify the corpses as soon as possible. The Civil Guard is doing work in different areas in the province of Malaga, Huelva, and Cordoba for DNA testing. These DNA tests also serve to certify and identify, as you can imagine, some of the deceased people are difficult to recognize and therefore difficult to identify and need proof of a deer. All this is being done at a significant pace with maximum cooperation, as it cannot be otherwise in a circumstance of this nature. And of course now our concern is that those who are in the ICU get out of the ICU. Let the possible discharges be given over the next few days, and above all, it is essential to get those families who are completely broken out of suffering. And that on top of that, we cannot certify in a reliable way that that loved one, that father, that sister, that son is your child. That is what we are working on, and that is why I hope, wish, and want to trust that with the work that is going to be done, it is that I can solve it as soon as possible, but it will not be fast. Everything makes us foresee that the technical work in those wagons that are there, some of them are a mass of iron, is going to be an intense, hard, and complicated job. So I appreciate all the signs of affection for Andalusia, which unfortunately most of the users and the deceased are Andalusian, as you can imagine. A show of affection from all the authorities, from all the autonomous communities, even from regions outside Spain. And we also hope that as soon as we can, as I say, to transfer serenity to those families who need it so much. So we are waiting for the visit, as you know, shortly of the President of the government, whom I will receive at Ground Zero. And to thank once again the effort that was made last night. Last night the firefighters worked with a level of intensity and professionalism, healthcare workers with a level of professionalism, because when I arrived, sadly there were many people who died there, but there were no more injuries, and that is something that was done quickly. And now they are also working with the same intensity to be able to locate them as soon as possible, and to be able to identify them. And there is a lot of professionalism. There are many resources, there are many means, and the sooner we achieve it, because the sooner my concern is that we will bring a little serenity and a little less anguish to those relatives that I have been able to talk to some of them, and they are completely broken, as you can imagine. So I have nothing more to add. We don't have any information yet. And we hope that throughout this morning we can give you information, both we and representatives of the government of Andalusia, or the Minister of Public Works himself, or the President himself, that they also, in their part, have much more information about this accident, and they can also give some more information than we can give. It is not up to us, and what we do is the maximum cooperation and collaboration with that objective. I am sorry that we cannot continue, but they tell us that we have to leave the room because they have to clean up in terms of security. Thank you all, and thank you also for informing all citizens, especially those who are affected, those relatives who want more information or have doubts, that they go to the Civic Center that is next to, in the case of Cordoba, next to the Plaza de Toros, which is Poniente Sur Civic Center. There they will give you all the information, and in the rest of the provinces that they go to the stations themselves, that there are personnel, that he is already collecting the information to try to substantiate any doubts they may have. Thank you for transferring the information to all the relatives and to all of Spain and all of Andalusia. Thank you for your work.
All right, so that was that press conference from earlier out of Spain from Spanish officials on that train crash. At least 39 killed in that crash. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back here in just 2 minutes here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.